Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm asking the question, why is this still a thing in 2022? And that is because 10 years after the Bat Chat was first moved up from tier 9 to tier 10, I'm finally playing it with the 100mm gun once again. Yeah, this time on my Plays for Free account. Now, what exactly is my Plays for Free account? As you can see towards the top of your screen, it's an account I started in 2018, towards the end of 2018, because I just felt like I had no idea how new players were playing the game and what it's like to play the game without all of the pay-to-win advantages that you see that I play on my main account. And yeah, one thing I really didn't realize is just how darn painful the Bat Chat with the 100mm gun can be. This gun is, let's just say, not very fun when you're bouncing off the side of an E100, although we do go through him the second time. Hopefully this one's going to go in. Oh no, it's going to get absorbed by the tracks. At least I put one in there. So, 4 out of 6 rounds entering the vehicle, and you might be thinking, whoa, this magazine, it's bigger than the 105mm on the Bat Chat. Is it going to be better? No, it's really not. I'm not sure if you're good with maths, but 6 times 300, 1,800, right? The 105mm gun on this tank, the bigger one, while it has only 5 rounds, 390 alpha damage, means that it's going to do 1,950 damage per magazine. And the funny thing is that the intra clip is the same between these two guns. So you're doing 1,950 in, 2.73 seconds less than the 100mm gun is going to do 150 less damage. Yeah. That's really not the main kicker with this gun. The main kicker with this gun is the fact that its penetration 232, it's okay at tier 9, but at tier 10 with tier 10 only matchmaking and the fact that everybody's starting to get tier 10 armor, it really doesn't work. And when I'm on my free-to-play account, it just doesn't feel right just caking out the gold rounds at least too unnecessarily. And they have 263mm of penetration, which is far less than the 330mm of high explosive anti-tank that you will get on the Bat Chat's 105. This gun, I guess I gotta answer the question. I would have been able to kill that guy in 2 shots there if I'd been using the top gun QQQ. At least I get the extra shell in. But that's another thing, right? Because of the less alpha damage, I would have been able to still have 3 rounds left in my tank. They would have 390 rather than 300. Anyway, you get the idea. You can still kind of make this thing work as long as you do play it like this. And I'd also like to give a massive thank you to this WZ-111-5A in this game. I can tell you, this WZ-111-5A, when I looked at their post-game stats, they got like 45 or 46 or 47% wins, right? Look at this absolute total soldier, this complete Spartan that saved me from getting caught from the 60 TP and absolutely dominated them. I gave them a big thanks in the battle, and I contacted them in the post-game to just let them know how much I appreciated it. Because I can tell you, this was after about six games of just pure pain in the Bat Chat, where the gun never really worked for me, where I never had enough penetration to be able to get that damage in, where I just frankly didn't have enough burst damage. Because dealing 1,800 damage is great, but can you really expect the enemy team to sit still for 13.64 seconds for you to deliver the magazine? No. And so Wargaming expect you to go and grind, I don't know, is it 40, 50, 60,000 experience to be able to get the 105mm on this tank. And you might be thinking, that's weird, aren't tier 10 tanks meant to come at their maximum performance elite? And yes, they are. But the reason why the Bat Chat doesn't is because 10 years ago, in August 2012, the Bat Chat was actually moved up from tier 9 to tier 10. And when Wargaming used to do that back in the day, I guess they kind of wanted people to feel that they had to either pony up some free experience or grind it. If you grinded the Bat Chat 10 years ago, this gun would still be probably quite usable. Armor these days and burst damage capacity and everything in 2022 is so much higher than it was back then. And even with the 100mm in the Bat Chat, you could probably do pretty okay, because everybody's DPM was low, everybody's armor was worse than it is now, and their mobility was much worse than the Bat Chat. AKA, the Bat Chat was a much better tank. And playing with the 100mm, you could probably make it work. These days, oh my lord, it has been a painful experience to go from my main account onto my free-to-play account and try and use this 100. And so, why 10 years later Wargaming even still have the 105 not as the default gun on this tank is kind of beyond me. There's really, I don't think there's anyone out there that would prefer to use the 100 on this tank, even though it does have slightly better aim time and a touch better accuracy. I don't think even the most insane people out there are not going to want to use the 105. Still working out for me well in this game. So you might be questioning, why are you doing it all again? Why are you playing on this Plays for Free account? Why don't you just use free experience if you know that the journey is going to be painful? Well, that's the whole darn point about this account, right? The reason why I started this account in 2018 is so that I could get experiences just like this, to know what the free-to-play players and what the new players of World of Tanks have to put up with that maybe the people who have been playing it for a ridiculous amount of time like me have just simply forgotten about. By playing this account and putting myself through the trials and tribulations that the new players and also the free-to-play players have to go through, even 10 years, 11 years, the 11th anniversary of World of Tanks today, have to be able to experience, allows me, I feel, to be more in touch with those players and also to be able to give them better recommendations. And as I'm meant to be a community contributor for Wargaming, how can I not experience the game like people who are just starting today? And how can I not experience the game like still probably about 1 in 2 people who don't spend any money in this game? Before all of the paying customers go and think about all of the free-to-play customers, oh, well, they should just spend some money and support the development. By just playing the game, they're actually helping you to be able to play as well. Because frankly, the casual players are the ones who are making the matchmaker take less time to be able to fill all of you into the paying customers into the game. They make the matchmaking better through just their presence inside the game. And they're usually playing a lot more casual tanks. And they're playing stock vehicles like the Batchat, which allows the paying customers, which there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying either way is the better way to play, or either way is the correct or morally better way to play. But there's undoubtable that I see so much toxicity towards either the free-to-play players or people who have to go and play things like this stock. And really, all of the paying customers should be thanking the super casual players. You know, a shout out from me to anyone who's been playing the game, like completely free to play for a ridiculously long amount of time. Because you are the MVPs for sticking with this. You are the MVPs for being able to prop up the player base to stop the queue numbers going up into the minutes. Unless I guess you're on the NA server, and then maybe sometimes they're already there, not at prime time, I guess. Real shout out to you. And for all of one thing I've really seen in the community recently as well is a large amount of toxicity towards the casual players from, shall we say, the incredibly experienced ones. You should not be super angry at the casual players. You should be thanking them. All of you players out there who love to get your 3,000 damage average games or your 4,000 damage average games in your tier 10, you should be loving the happy little strawberries, because they are the ones who are propping up your 2 kills per battle. They are the ones who are propping up your average damage. Every player who has to suffer playing through the Batchat 25T with the 100mm gun is enabling you in your TVP or your new VZ55 to bounce their shells in the VZ55, not the TVP, and then be able to deliver them basically over half of their damage in 2 seconds rather than 13. So to explicitly answer the question, why does the 100mm gun exist on the Batchat compared to just getting the 105mm gun like we see on the right? It's a relic from time forgot. 10 years since the vehicle was moved up from tier 9 to tier 10, but I can tell you, having just experienced it now, trying to play this thing with that amount of pen and that amount of burst damage at tier 10, yeah, it's definitely not the same now as you probably could have managed to make it work 10 years ago. Luckily, it looks like if you manage to get yourself into enough support situations and those miracle engagements where the tier 10s are already preoccupied, explicitly the heavies, with your heavies, yeah, the Batchat can still work with its 232mm of pen. We get a high caliber here for our 6,459 damage, managing to vanquish a third of the enemy team, and we hit all but 1 shot. But we still managed to bounce 7 shells, even though most of that damage was dealt up close, and I believe we did fire a few gold rounds here when we ran out of our standard ammunition. And the funny thing is, this 100mm gun, it's probably way less free to play, or at least possibly free to play, than if you do manage to get the top gun, because you're going to have all of that extra penetration. In fact, the regular penetration with the 105 is pretty much what the 100mm is like if you are firing gold. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, Just wanted to share this absolute feels good moment to ace the Batchat 25T on my Plays for Free account before I've even managed to get the top gun on it. I would like to clarify though, this was very much a cherry picked game, and I've been winning about maybe 30 or 40% of my games and doing an awful amount of average damage combined on this tank. It definitely doesn't feel competitive right now, and I'm hoping that's going to change when we get the top gun. So I really hope you all enjoyed this video today. If you did, and you remember playing tanks like the Batchat and the IS-4 with the stock guns, then give this video a thumbs up, or maybe if you just enjoyed the video. If you hated it, however, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below what was the most painful tank you've ever had to play stock, and why. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.